Morning, everybody. Welcome to my Saturday Zoom call. I'm just going to go over the introduction to homeopathy. It's going to be a very simple call today, just to kind of get our feet wet with homeopathy and what it really is. So we're going to go into the next slide here. Samuel Hahnemann is actually the father of homeopathy, and this is crazy. I just kind of connected this morning. His birth date was April 10th, 1755, and he died on July 2nd, 1843. Piggy Britches died on April 10th. So I'm just like, okay, another sign that I'm in the right spot. Um, all right, homeopaths. As practitioners, that's what we're called, believe that the substance that causes the symptoms of a disease in a healthy person can cure the similar symptoms in sick people. The doctrine is called simila symbolis curantur, or like cures like. And that is the premise of homeopathy, is that like cures like. We're going to go into that just a little bit further. It is an alternative medicine that is based on the theory of treating like with like. So, homeopathy claims to stimulate healing responses to diseases by administering substances that mimic the symptoms of those diseases in healthy people. The effectiveness of homeopathic preparations is disputed within the medical sciences, of course. They don't really give it much clout. So, when working with clients, you'll want to take an extensive symptom review. So you want to note any real peculiar symptoms, because it's sometimes those peculiar symptoms that's typically pointing you to a sign or a symptom that they're having that's actually going to be the remedy that um, maybe reverses it. So really pay attention when you're, working with a client, kind of get all of their symptoms down. Anything that's just strange, like maybe when they swallow, they feel heat, or, really pay attention to sometimes what they don't say, and then ask, questions to kind of involve them a little bit more, because you want every little funny little symptom, because that's how you base what you're going to help somebody with. This is a great example. A lot of people don't realize this, but allium cepa, or allium cepa is a remedy that is actually derived from an onion. And we know with onions, when you're cutting onions, what does it kind of do to you? It makes your eyes water, it makes your nose start to run. So with people that suffer with hay fever, allergies, things like that, this is one of their symptoms. They'll even tell you, my nose is running like a faucet. My eyes are running and I can't stop crying. That is a telltale sign that somebody needs allium cepa as a remedy. And you can give this remedy in the lower potencies quite a bit. So you can give it up to, 5, 7 times in a day until they start to have some of those symptoms kind of retract. And when they do that, you've got the right remedy. A lot of times when using higher potencies, one of the things that you'll notice is somebody gets really sleepy and wants to go to sleep. And that's a good sign. That was one of the signs that I noticed with Piggy Britches. When I was giving her higher potencies, she immediately went to sleep. So that was her body's way of saying, okay, now let me get to work with this and get on the healing. So there's different potencies with homeopathy. So you have 6C and below. And typically when you've got a 6C potency, um, one of the ways that you can make that is you can put like a pellet or two in some distilled water in a little shaker bottle. And I keep little tincture bottles, the amber ones. And then whenever I make a remedy, This is one that's already made up. I usually label it, but you fill the bottle mostly up with distilled water. You'll drop a couple of the pellets in the water, and then when you succuss it, you're going to hit it on the palm of your hand, and that's succussing. And what that's actually doing is it's making the energetic footprint of the remedy just expand within that distilled water. So every time you hit it on your phone, on your hand, you're increasing the potency. So if you want a 30C, you're going to have to smack it on your hand about 30 times. And if you go up higher, then it's however many times you hit your hand is the potency of the remedy. So the higher the potencies, the more attention you want to pay to your client. The lower the potencies, you're going to just kind of see them. They'll take it, and then when they start to have symptom relief is when you know that you've hit the right amount. 30Cs are very safe to use. A lot of people will use 30C remedies 1 to 3 times a day until they get some relief from whatever it is that they're treating. But the higher the potency, you really want to get, with a homeopath. Um, so lower potencies, such as 6C, cover a wide range of symptoms. So are ideal if you're not certain what you have and you've chosen the best remedy for your symptoms. So if you're not quite sure what it is you're dealing with, then these potencies are just fine to use. Your medium potencies, like the 30C, are a good choice for home prescribers who have some familiarity with homeopathy. They can be given every 2 to 4 hours until symptoms improve, and then only repeated if the symptoms return. So improvement should be noticed within 1 to 3 doses if the correct remedy has been selected. So that's kind of your rule of thumb with the 30C. It's pretty safe. You don't have to worry too much about any type of provings. Now, you get into the higher potencies, sometimes you'll have a proving, which basically is your symptoms become worse and you may need to back off. So here's the higher potencies. Need to match the symptoms more precisely. So if a curative response is to be triggered. So as a general rule, the higher the potency, the longer the effect. A 6C potency may need to be repeated every 1 to 2 hours for a brief period before the symptoms improve, while an M potency may only have to be given once. And I know that for a fact with my son when he was younger. The homeopath that we were working with, she used a lot of M potencies and L potencies. So when we were doing those, she was pretty much on call, so that if he ended up having a proving, she would actually come in with something different. Um, it's not anything to be afraid of or anything like that. You just want to have a homeopath on standby if you're going to use the larger potencies or the stronger potencies. So, what conditions can homeopathy treat? These are just some of them that are kind of broad, but allergies, migraines, depression, chronic fatigue syndrome, rheumatoid arthritis, irritable bowel syndrome, premenstrual syndrome. Those are just some of the things. There are so many things that homeopathy can help and use, that you can use to help treat different things or get you symptom relief. That'd be the better word, as we just want to provide some symptom relief. Um, so a lot of people ask, well, what kind of risks are there? Homeopathic medicines are safe, gentle, non-toxic, and effective way of healing the body in acute and chronic conditions. So there's really nothing that you can do that will cause any issues, no side effects, nothing like that. And if you feel weird or if you have any doubt, just stop. Just stop taking it. So that's today's pretty much. I'm going to just kind of ease into this, kind of give you a little basis of it, and then we'll go in deeper. Does anybody have any questions or comments? You can just unmute yourself.
Tammy,
Yes, ma'am.
so when we talk about potency, we are talking about suscitating, and we are talking about the potency being stronger the more you suscitate or the less you suscitate.
The more you succuss it, it's going to be the stronger the potency. Now, you can also increase your potencies with your remedies on your scanner, and the way you would do that is you would imprint them for longer periods of time. So, and I'll have a chart and I'll share that with everybody next Zoom. We'll kind of go over how to use your scanner to increase your potency so that you're not smacking your hand, because your hand can get pretty sore after a while, but we can do it right from our scanners as well. So is it's actually different time frames that you would set it on your scanner and increase it.
Okay.
I also have a homeopathic generator, a Malcolm Ray generator that I use as well. So
I have a question.
yeah.
When you're running the homeopathic remedies on our CEPI program, what dosage are they?
What dosage are they?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lauren has really never stated that, but I say whatever intention you give it is the dosage you're getting.
Okay, cool.
That's kind of what I do.
Very good.
Any other questions or comments? We'll go in here and we'll share the screen on maybe my, nope, that's not what I want. I'm going to get in here and get the app up here and show the homeopathy in case y'all had any questions there. We have such a nice homeopathic list now. And when I had Lauren on the line, what was it, last week when we did our thing for the update, or for the update call, he made a comment that soon we'll be able to type in whatever it is that we need in that list and it'll add it. So that's kind of awesome. So our scanners are moving into an amazing direction so that we'll be able to do even more with them. So if anybody has any questions about any of the homeopathics in here, how to look for them or anything like that, I'll answer any of those questions if you have any.
You know, Tammy, I don't really know a lot about this function, but I use it all the time using the symptom section, and I imprint playlists on my jewelry, my gemstone jewelry, for my back pain, my hip pain, and my knee pain, and they are very super effective for me.
Well, you know, I'm having a little bit of back pain this morning, so we're just going to kind of see what it is wanting me to do. So you pick, here's a great example. You pick the symptom that you're dealing with, and of course it gives you a list of different homeopathics that are great for back pain. But let's see what my body wants, and you hit that scan button, and whatever is at the very tops of the list is the ones that would be best for your body. So Calcarea phosphoricum, and if that doesn't work, then I just want to, so you want to take a little snapshot of your list, and then if you're broadcasting something, for example, I broadcast the Calcarea phosphoricum and I'm not really getting much relief, move down to the next one. Add that to your playlist until you find which one is actually giving you the most relief. And then you can now also take those in internally. So
I never thought about that. That's a great idea. Thank you.
yeah.
Can you not do that entire list?
You could, but you're not going to know what's actually working for you. So it's always best with homeopathy to do one at a time, because worst case scenarios, you'll cause a proving and your symptoms get worse, and then you're like, oh, this ain't working for me. So it's better on homeopathy when you're targeting something. That's the reason why when I make those playlists and it has homeopathy in there, I usually list the top homeopathic pellets for that particular condition or issue. And then I say, start with this one in your list. And if you don't get results, then replace it with one of these others. Because you really want to work with one. Now, if you're using a list that's kind of supportive of back pain, maybe where you've got back pain and homeopathy for stiffness, and that those all work for you, it would probably be okay. I mean, it's not going to hurt you to do all of them, but you're not going to know what's really working for you. Does that make sense?
Well, I have a comment on that as well, because I do use these lists all the time, and I do it exactly like you say. I go in there and I'll put in back pain, and I very rarely use thoracic. It's just usually generally backache.
Uh-huh.
Because the thoracic doesn't normally do a whole lot for me, and I
Right.
have recognized that. But I will say there are times when I'll put these lists in and they don't work as well as they normally do, and what you're describing actually can clear that up for me.
Yeah.
So Tammy, these are listed in the order of importance.
Mm-hmm. That's what Lauren stated at last day of discovery in person. He said these are in order of how your body is resonating and wanting them. So this one would be my top remedy, and almost every time that I choose according to what the scanner says, I notice that they're spot on. Everything's spot on. So I choose to do it like that, and I can sometimes intuitively, you know, pick out something, especially when I'm doing my Cepheid dots. I usually try to guess before it actually chooses something, and it's almost always what I choose. There's been a couple of times different, but it is kind of fun to kind of guess prior to.
And how quickly do you feel results?
Within just a few seconds, typically. When you've
Wow.
got the right remedy, you should feel it within at most maybe 10 minutes. You should feel relief of whatever it is that you're targeting.
I agree. When I imprint these onto my jewelry, and as soon as I put the jewelry on, it takes care of it. And
Yes.
I literally can feel it wear off 4 or 5 days later.
Mm-hmm. I can too.
Okay, so for headache, for instance, you could do one for headache.
Yep.
Migraine would be separate from headache, right? It's a different.
Yeah. What is it really? Is it a migraine or is it a headache?
Well, I was just pulling stuff out of the air. I didn't know. So there's a whole list of things that you can go.
Uh-huh. Yeah. See, this is the headache and migraines list that they're pulling, and I do know those are good ones for. I'm not dealing with a headache right now, but um, or a metallicum. So that's actually homeopathic gold, um, is what that is. And I actually keep that. I keep a gold ring in my water, so I sun cure my water with gold in it, and I blow my water with the gold in it. So I'm making my own homeopathic pellet right there, or homeopathic even with my water.
So what about, I've got the friend that I was talking about that I saw yesterday. She's having problems with constipation. You could do that as well.
Yep, we can just type in, I think, yeah, food intolerances. So, yep, so sulfur, it's the only one there is. So you don't need to scan for that. So I would just imprint sulfur and give her some. And sulfur is pretty potent with constipation. So she should notice something almost immediately. And then you could also play a list you know, um, for the constipation. One of them that I have in here that I use quite often, or it might be in my mom's. Let me see if it's in here, because she always has a little bit of constipation issues from time to time. Let's see if it's down here. I may have it listed somewhere else. Oh, it's in her list. Let me see if it's in my other account. Um, there it is. So this is a really good list and you could add that probably. You could take the iodium out, which is a homeopathic remedy, and put the sulfur in there. And so I could actually go in here and just take that one out. And we could add sulfur to it. And that would be a better list.
And why are you taking iodium out?
Because the sulfur would probably be a much better choice.
Okay.
Probably did not have that available when I first made that list, because we had very few homeopathics available when we started, and I'm sure that that's an older one, but that now is that's a really good list to use.
How often do you update the list?
Depends. I mean, if I go through it and I see that I need to change it, I'll change it up, but it's not very often. Because now that we've got such a exhaustive list of homeopathy, there are some of them that I'm editing as I go along in my own lists. Any other questions or comments on our Cephi, our homeopathy, that I can help with?
Tammy, you are just a walking encyclopedia.
I love to learn. I just love to learn.
So you could do this at a distance for somebody that
Oh,
doesn't have.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I was running Cephis on somebody. I don't know where she's at right now, but she's in the United States somewhere for the last couple of days. I've just been running them on her because she had some back surgery and she doesn't have a scanner. But I said, hey, I'll run some frequencies on you to help support you through this. So I've been running all evening and through the night for her so she can get some sleep. So that's very effective long distance, because as long as you've got the person pulled up, and then when you go to the Cephi program, just make sure that that person is the target or whatever it is that you're using. One of the things that you can also do is if you're mailing Cephi dots to somebody, and I've got to get it into my scanner, but you can actually put the Cephi dots as spaces and objects. And then when you go to the Cephi program, you can imprint their Cephi dot from a remote location. You just actually pick the Cephi dot, and mine takes forever to load because I've got tons of stuff in there.
So the person you're scanning has the Cephi dots with her, she's got them in her hand, and you are running a scan over the universe to the Cephi
Yeah.
dots.
Yeah, you would actually, I don't know if I've loaded it yet. I haven't. You would actually just take a picture of the Cephi dot. So you'll just put it in here as Cephi dot. And then the description is frequency. And then you'd take a picture of it and save it. And then when you go to your Cephi program, so we'll just pretend that my Cephi dot's got the picture of it in there. You'll go to your custom playlist of whoever it is that you're going to send it to. So let's say that you're going to send me or you're going to imprint my Cephi dot with wonderful frequency. So you go down here and you'll pick the Cephi dot as your target. And there'll be a picture in here, but it'll be under my profile. So if I had a Cephi dot, because I just took mine off yesterday after being in that ozone, and I'm going to put another one on today. But then I just go in here and pick whatever list I want to add to that. So let's say I want to add abundance to that person's Cepheid dot. You'll just go in there and do the 20-second imprint, like make sure it goes through the entire list, and you're done. You've imprinted that person's Cepheid dot. I would go in there and erase it first, of course, but there you go. That's how you do that remotely. So get those Cepheid dots out to people, and that way they can feel and experience the frequencies of what your machine can do or what your scanner can do. And they'll give you beautiful feedback, let you know that, wow, that I've got more abundance in my life, or maybe you're playing something for anxiety for them. It could be a whole host of things that you do for them, but yeah, this is a powerful way to do it.
And when you're sending the Cepheid dots to somebody, do you wrap them up in aluminum foil before you put them in the post office?
Yes, I do. In fact, if you buy the little kits from Solex, they already have a little bag that's foil lined. I bought some off of Amazon, and I'm just using what I've got because they didn't have those available when we first got them, and I thought, how am I going to get these sent? So yeah, I just wrap, 3 to 5 dots in foil after I imprint them, and I send them to the person.
And when they're done with that Cepheid dot, generally after 72 hours, do you throw the Cepheid dot away, or do you recharge it, or do you erase it and use it for something else?
I will erase and re-imprint mine up to I've worn one for up to 4 weeks on the inside of my leg, and I still felt like it was giving me what it needed. So that's just me. Lauren says they're only good for 72 hours, but I feel like mine lasted. So I'm gonna use mine like that.
What a great way to introduce somebody to Solex then.
Right?
Because
Right?
if they get that kind of relief right away, what other thing out there on the market is going to cause them to have that kind of relief so quickly? Even if they're the biggest skeptic in the world, Tammy,
Yep,
and they can't be a skeptic if it works.
exactly. And there's literally, you can even do this with people's pets, because we know that pets have no placebo effect. And almost every pet that I've ever used this technology on, you get a complete, you see the results immediately. It's just insane.
Can you put a Cepheid dot on a vase of water and have a rosebud in that vase of water and test it to see how quickly that rosebud would root?
Sure, why not? I
We did that
I would try it.
We did that years ago with another product, and we just we wrapped the band around it and turned on the frequency,
Yeah.
and we did it for a root on 2 roses, one that got the frequency and one that didn't, and we kept daily records of it. And
Oh, cool.
the one that got the frequency rooted. The one that didn't never rooted.
Interesting. That'd be a good thing to do with maybe a couple of plants, like a couple of tomato plants right now. That might be a good little experiment to do. See which one produces more tomatoes.
Or the bulbs like daffodils or
Yeah.
irises, something,
Yeah.
Something that you can buy a bunch of them and try it. Okay, so I'm going to go to Sam's and get some daffodils today.
There you go. Okay, someone in the chat, Tracy, do you have to take a picture of every person? No, Lauren has finally stated that you don't have to have a picture of every person now that we've ran as many scans as we have, that the technology is pretty smart now. It can go off of just their birth date and their information you put in there. So it's not critical, Tracy. I like to still take pictures because I like to know who I'm working with. So I just go ahead and ask them, can I please have a picture? Because I feel like it does, in my head, I feel like it does a little better than not having a picture, but that's just me. Any other questions? Yeah, I do too, Tracy. I do too. She said she does when she has it. I'm like, yeah, me too. All right, guys. Well, no more questions or comments. We'll go ahead and end today, and then we'll just kind of expand on homeopathy. If you guys have any questions, or if you want me to focus on something over something else, I'm happy to do that too. So, you guys have an incredible Saturday afternoon. I'm gonna probably go take another nap. That ozone sauna did me in, and I'm just gonna listen to my body. So anyway, you guys have an incredible Saturday, and we will see you next Saturday. So love you guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Tammy.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Great
You're
class.
so welcome. Bye bye, guys.